Hi, my love, and welcome to Yes to Life podcast, a podcast about soulful living and sacred feminine embodiment. It is a podcast about following our dreams, open up to our full potential, and saying yes to life. It is also a podcast about remembering the sacredness of the female body and the feminine essence. My name is Helena. I'm a mother of 6 beautiful children and a sacred, sensual, and feminine embodiment guide. I help women in all stages of their lives to love, adore, and understand their female bodies, to celebrate their feminine essence, and to awakening their inner goddess. I'm the founder of Blissful Feminine Flow and the creatrix of programs like Yoni Flowering, Womb Bliss, Sacred Bleeding, Blissful Mama, Pleasure Queen, and Sacred Feminine Body Love. I have always been very open and sensitive and have a feeling that more is possible. Beside my deep love and curiosity for the female body and the feminine essence, which I got mostly from my own pregnancy, birth, and motherhood, I am also very fascinated about people who have dared to walk their own path and follow their dreams and are showing us that more is possible. I can see the power of us coming together and have these deep conversations about the things that we care about. I can also see the gift of listening to these deep conversations. That's why I started this podcast. If this touches something deep within you, please stay tuned and let's get started with today's episode. So, my loves, welcome to another episode of Yes to Life podcast. And today I'm here with a beautiful, beautiful guest, Abigail, and we are going to talk about something that have been so deeply on my heart for a long time, but I haven't found that guest to share it. But now she is here, and we are going to talk about heart and breast. And this woman have been in my field for many, many years, and I have thought about connecting to her and writing to her to be a part of this. So welcome, Abigail.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so excited to speak about this with you.
Yeah, you know, when you feel this resonance and you feel this connection with someone, even if you haven't spoken, and that's how I feel with you. And also, your way of sharing your wisdom is so special because you can feel the depth in what you share and the embodiment in what you share. And that is not always the case when you see people pop in, pop up in the feed. But your way of sharing it is taking us directly into the body and
Mm.
into that deep wisdom. And I love it. I get goosebumps on my arms when I say it.
Mm.
And yes, for the people who are listening, would like to share a little bit who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I love what you just shared and opening with that because I definitely feel that so strongly in my work and in these realms of feminine care and embodiment and tending to the breast, tending to the womb. There's this really ancient feminine medicine that I feel I often touch on and encounter in these spaces where it just feels so natural and so deep and so ancient for us to tend to ourselves and each other in these ways. And it's really, yeah, I think that is a core behind a lot of what I offer is just bringing back that reverence and that sacredness to our bodies which really is, to our incarnation and our physical, that I think in a lot of modern and more masculine religions and spirituality, it can neglect that part, want to go out of the body or say that the body is um just an illusion, or something that you
Yeah.
want to detach from. And it really is this, yeah, the medicine of the mother, the Holy Mother, of the feminine spirituality, that, yeah, coming home to the body as just as sacred.
Mm.
So yeah, this is my realm, is women's body tending. And specifically, I've really felt called and kind of just synchronistically came into specifically tending to the breasts and women's breasts through hands-on lymphatic breast massage. And it was really through, yeah, when I started practicing, when I started doing sessions with women, is really when a lot of this started opening up to me, of just my hands actually touching women's breasts and being in that space with them, and just starting to see how much was going on in women's breasts, how much women were carrying there, and how it was a space that generally in the collective of women is quite neglected and almost like forgotten about. It's like this area of our breasts and hearts, I think is a bit offline for many, many women. So yeah, starting to do hands-on work in this way. And I just kept doing it. I kept feeling called because it was so needed, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and yeah, fast forward, yeah, it's been about 9 years that I've been in the realm of the breast specifically. And so now I also do online breast health education. Really, a huge piece is really teaching women how to actually tend to their breasts and support tissue transformation. So, supporting women to soften density and clear cysts and dissolve fibrous tissue. And yeah, just in my experience of hands-on work, I really felt and know so much that is possible, that it's so possible for us to shift our breast tissue. And within that process, it's also just a coming home to the breasts, feeling more connected, feeling more safe and trusting with our bodies. And then, yeah, and then I also lead practitioner training. So I teach women how to give therapeutic lymphatic breast massage and bring breast care to their communities.
Yes. So beautiful. And I can feel when you talk about it how this it goes so deep when we dare to be with the bodies and be there and listen and go deep, because the massage that you are talking about, I can feel that that is deep. That is communion with the most deepest part of us. And as you said, we can neglect it and we can just be on the surface of it. But when we go deep into her,
Mm.
she holds so much wisdom and also pain and trauma and also bliss and pleasure and joy. So I think that it's not so usual that we dare to go so deep. And also for me that have birthed 6 babies and also worked with pregnant women and being a doula and being there when women give birth. That's the same thing, that we have to dare to be in that intensity. And I can feel when you
Mhm.
talk about it that that's the same journey back home, and start to listen to her and to the flow that she 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 is in her nature.
Mm.
It's so beautiful just to listen to when you talk about it, because I can feel it in the cells of my body. And
Mm.
also the fear that women have, because I had a course about the yoni flowering, and one week was about connecting the yoni and the breasts and the heart. And many women reached out to me and said that that was so much resistance to touch the breasts, and yes, the fear of connecting to what we hold there. And I also love your way of looking at it, that it's both this physical massage and touching, and it's also the other layers of emotions and energy. And it's beautiful that you say that we can change so many things that women all around the world are having no idea that it is possible. So this has to come out. It's so important.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been feeling that so much recently, that being one of the most important messages, just that women know that there are natural ways to shift things in the breast. And yeah, that I believe in so deeply because I've seen it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I feel that as well. I think I experience that too, or hear from women. There's can be so much fear around connecting with the breasts. And I think even just, breast cancer is so prevalent and is a very real thing that many women go through. And almost every woman I feel like is connected to somebody who has gone through it or experienced it. Um, and I also think it is kind of weaponized and, programmed into us to hyperfixate on that and be really afraid of that, while also not not being taught, about our bodies and about our breasts and what they're meant to feel like. And just
Yeah.
all so women are kind of left in the dark about their breasts. And so then
Mm.
it can feel really scary to open to it, and or to just have no idea um
Yeah.
how to approach it or what's going on in there. And so yeah, I think
Yes.
bridging that connection, and opening that relationship is so essential. And I really love to, yeah, to approaching with um slowness. Like I find that the breasts have these layers, so it's like you can approach with the first layer that's ready to be felt and connected to, and then just over time it'll be deeper and deeper layers.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and then a woman's confidence starts to build and grow as she connects more. And it's such a it's such a like magical and rewarding journey.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Mm. Yes. And I also think that we have so many different judgment about it. Just opening up the conversation about the relationship to our breasts. how do we feel about them? What is our relationship to them? And what have we been taught about them from our mothers and from our friends? And
Mhm. Mhm.
are they were too small or too big? Or for who are they? For my husband, for the kids, or for the boyfriend in high school? Or uh, I think it's so many things if we just give
Mhm.
it a little bit of curiosity about how are our relationship to them, and what do they mean to us. And when we start to explore that and open up for that journey, I have felt that it is so many layers, as you said.
Mhm.
Oh, just touching them and loving them, start to loving them for real, not just the surface level of them. And I
Mhm.
remember when I was a teenager, I did not love them. The form and the I was not in great relationship to them. And then I just shut it down and then I disconnected from them. And when I started to breastfeed, then I had to create a relationship to them. But it was a relationship that was um, about nurturing and giving my child nourishment and from a mother's perspective. And then when I started to explore my pleasure and sexuality, then I had to look at them and feel them from another lens. And it have been a journey. And also I have been with two partners in life, and I could feel how they shifted when I met my now the man I'm now with, because
Mhm.
he loved them exactly how they are, and that helped me. So how have um, partners in our lives affected our relationship to our breasts? I think that can also be a thing. So it's so many things that, and also how they can manifest, as you said, as blockages and tensions and stagnations in the physical muscles and tissues in and around our breasts.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so rich, everything that you're sharing about. It really is like opening to the realm of the breast. There's so much there.
Yeah. And I can think that if a woman come to you and have this caring hands touching them. I was looking at one of your videos and listened to you, and you were sharing about how how we how we view women and how we view breast and how we um, have to meet them from a place of no judgment, of course, but take away the sexual aspect, just care and just being there with her. And I think that for many women, that is a new experience
Mm.
and it can be very intense to have someone that touches with that care and with that presence. And I can feel when you talk how you do it, how you can be there. And I think that just that touch is healing.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It is really, yeah, it's really profound. I mean, so many women that I've given breast massages to, it was their first breast massage ever. And some women have had partners who would maybe massage their breasts or like touch their breasts in really nourishing ways. But yeah, most women, never experienced that. And
Yeah.
oftentimes it is the first time receiving just loving, nourishing touch that's just there to support and give.
Yeah.
It is. It's so powerful and it really, I feel like the breasts really want that. You know,
Yeah.
they're so giving in this way and
Yeah.
there's this outward part of ourselves, an
Mhm.
extension of our hearts. And so I feel like them, yeah, receiving back that care and nourishment and even just appreciation and love, like what you were saying with one of your partners, how he just really loved them and appreciated them as they are, and that does so much for the breasts too, and for um how we relate to them. Yeah, it's these, I call it nutrients of the breasts and nutrients of the heart.
Yeah.
That is that, yeah, love and appreciation and nourishment.
Mm. Yes, and I think that's so deeply part of the feminine too, how vulnerable we are for how we are being seen. And even if we are powerful, we are like these flowers, but we are also very, very vulnerable for how we are being approached and seen. And if we are naked, we can be guarded and we can have many tensions and guards up. But if we are naked in our nature and taking away this armor, we are very sensitive. And
Yeah.
yeah, I want to ask you more about this emotional connection and the energetics of the breast. But I also heard you talked about the bra and how that affects our breasts and our breast health because many, many years ago I thrown away any bras. I can't even wear them. And my teenager girls, they can come to me and say, "Oh, mother, your nipple, they can see your nipples. You have to wear the bra." And I can't do it because it's so uncomfortable and I can nearly breathe. So that's also a thing that we have to be aware of if because I don't think that everybody is aware. So if you just want to share how you have seen how they are affecting the health of the breasts of women.
Yeah. Yeah, I love to everything that you just shared about it. It really opens to how layered that topic is too, with like wearing bras and having our breasts be free and people seeing our nipples and things like that. Um, but yeah, I have seen so much in my practice the traumatic effects of bras on the breast tissue. Um, it's so common for there to be a lot of this like matted, um, dense tissue buildup right
Yeah,
underneath the breasts on the bra line.
yeah,
So like right where a lot of bras, especially underwire bras, kind of cut in a little bit or,
mhm,
constrict. And similarly on the side of the breasts and um, right where the bra line is, there can often be because essentially the bras are constricting circulation in that area. And in the places where those places that I just mentioned where they land are actually filled with so many lymph nodes and lymphatic channels. So the bras just cut off the circulation and the flow of those channels, which then creates more congestion and heaviness and blockages in the breasts. So, yeah, pretty much all women who have, worn those kind of tight constrictive bras for many years have
yeah.
some level of buildup in the tissue that often needs just tending and support to clear. Um, But yeah, seeing that, I just really saw so clearly how bras are not supportive for breast health. Um, and then there's also, yeah, there's this book called Dressed to Kill, and they they went on a whole journey about this and have made strong correlations to an increase in rates of breast cancer for women who wear more constrictive bras for many more hours. So, yeah, definitely letting the breasts be free is so healthy for them. It's actually what supports their natural design and their natural, like they want to breathe and to flow and to, move and jiggle a little bit throughout the day. Like that's really natural. So going braless, or, I know for so many women that doesn't necessarily feel comfortable, or they might be in jobs or situations where they want to cover their nipples, or they want support or whatever it might be. Um, so I can share with you and with anyone listening who wants it, but I have a list of really great bra companies
Yeah.
that make, non-constrictive, non-underwire bras, even some for very, very large breasts that are still comfortable and, yeah, won't create that cutting off of circulation. Um, but yeah, I definitely, even in my own journey, even the first few years I was in this work, I would still wear those kind of more comfortable, non-constrictive bras a lot in public because I didn't want sexual attention really. And it actually it wasn't just sexual attention, it was also jealousy from women. I think it because we live in a society where there's a lot of perversion around sexuality and around women's breasts. So I think as a whole, we're just not very comfortable with, breasts being
Yes.
free and breasts being out. And women can sometimes, use their kind of weaponize that or use their breasts like to get attention or
Yes.
to pull in energy from men. So there's so many layers to it, but yeah, for many years I was very aware and sensitive to those energetics, so I would just feel more comfortable, having a little bit of coverage or not
Yeah.
having my breasts be free. Um, but then at some point, my breasts just they were just like, we want to be free, and that is more important than anything else. Um, So yeah, rarely ever wear bras now. And I do actually feel as well that there's something about like I feel quite comfortable in my breasts and
Mm.
they feel relaxed in this way.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like I don't experience a lot of unwanted sexual energy towards them, even though they're relatively large, and sometimes they're just hanging free. But
Yeah.
feel I don't feel a lot of perversion towards them, and I don't feel it's almost like they don't feel threatening. Like they feel there's a certain naturalness and comfortability that I think is felt.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but whatever level a woman is comfortable with, you don't have to go braless, but either braless or yeah, bras that just fit well and are comfortable
Mm.
where you're not at the end of the day like, oh my gosh, I want to
Yeah.
take this off because it's so tight.
Mm. Mm. Yes. So beautiful described. And also, as you, the more you create this deep connection with them, I think then, as you said, in some point you feel that you own them, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not so you are the keeper of them. And of course, it can be
Yeah.
situations when they are more vulnerable, and places when you want to just uh, cover them in some way, but it's in more conscious way maybe. And I think that it's important to just be aware of how they are affecting us. And I think sometimes you don't know, because if you always wear it, you don't know how it feels to when the circulation is free. And just taking it away and allow that everything to start to move can be uncomfortable, and it can create fear if you don't know what is happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also what you were sharing about this sexual attention, and how some people or some women use them for attention, and even get implants and change their expression just to get attention. And for some, it have been something that have been uncomfortable and not nice to have the attention. And either way, it for somebody else. But when we can own them for ourselves, I think something is happening. And just starting with this breast massage, and yes, start to feel them, and create this deep connection is a journey, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love what you said of feeling like you own them and being the keeper of them. And yeah, I've experienced that so much with my own breasts of tending them over time. And then yeah, there is this point where they feel like mine. It's like this reclaiming them as your own territory and terrain, and this sacred part of you where it becomes so much more important for how you feel with them
Yeah.
than how other people perceive them or how they look to somebody else. It's more about your relationship, which I think is how it's meant to be. And there's this deep sovereignty there. Um,
Mm,
Having that level of connection with our own body. Mm, yeah, and I think the even just the realm of breast implants, it's kind of the um almost like the opposite of that. And what can so often happen in the realms of breasts, it's like being so concerned with how they look, how they appear, that they're sexy and big, and
yeah.
yeah, that they're sexy enough, and a certain image of them at the cost of how they feel,
Yes.
because I've worked with a lot of women with implants, and oftentimes it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good to have implants.
No.
Um, so yeah, that coming home and developing that relationship, it becomes about how they feel and them getting to feel yummy and nourishing and pleasurable and
Yeah.
yeah, and for ourselves and how we want
Yes.
to share them with others.
Exactly. And also becoming alive in some way. Because if we
Mhm.
are hiding them or feel shame around them in some way, or it's like we disconnect or numb them. And when we allow them to be alive, it's a totally different experience. And I
Yeah.
also want to touch about what you were sharing about breast cancer, and also I know that you have shared in some um, video about I think it was about how you touch a woman because she is sacred, or every one is sacred, but just this female body, and you don't want to touch her with numbness. So if you go to a control and they're just pushing the breasts and putting them in some machine or doing things without
Mhm.
consider that it is a whole sensitive being that you are dealing with. It doesn't feel good, and we maybe think that we can't say anything. And I can see this in childbirth all the time,
Yeah.
that we don't see the whole sensitivity of it, and we have been taught to be quiet and to just do it. But the trauma that it have on us is there. And when maybe we didn't want to do it, or we wanted to say no, but we was afraid, or how that can also, I think, um, being a part of the tensions in the body.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely thinking of like a doctor's breast exam, for a woman, and
Yeah.
it's like fluorescent lights, and they come
Yes.
in and there's no warm up. There's just this, pressing into the breasts. Um, and it's a very, yeah, it's more of a contracting experience. Like the body the body doesn't open from
No.
those experiences. And that's something that, yeah, I found so fascinating too, is like when I'm doing breast massage sessions, because of how the lymph flows, um,
Yeah.
I'm often spending just as much time on the armpit and underarm and like upper chest area before going into the breast tissue,
Yeah.
because it helps so much with the lymph and the flow. And also, I do
Mm.
feel like there's a natural warming up of the body and trusting touch, and then I do go in depth into the tissue, but yeah, in a way that's more slow and, yeah, and reverent, and where the
Mm.
body can respond and naturally open and feel safe. And within that too, yeah, I was speaking to my brother's wife, who is a doctor, and she's just starting in OBGYN, and she was saying she would never have time to go that in depth
Oh.
with a breast check, or to, yeah, and just the levels that I, have felt and experienced women's breast tissue is so much more in depth than any doctor has, because they
Yes.
really just they do this surface level kind of palpation, but
Yeah.
one, they're not actually creating this opening and shifting and change in the breast tissue. I don't think many people even know that that's possible, you know? And then, yeah, they're also not actually, feeling that in depth of what's really going on in the breast.
No.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Totally. And also, I think that, as you said, when they're doing it, it's the energy of fear or energy of searching for something is wrong. So it's different how we approach them and how we come to the breasts. Are we there to care for them and to love them, or to listen? Or is it to sexualize them, or is it to search for something wrong with the energy of fear, or um, taking from them? Because I think I think many
Mhm.
women can feel that also men or the world wants to take from them. If we listen and feel, if we are feeling empty or yes, empty, then it can feel like people are want to take from this energy.
Mm. Mhm.
Mhm. So approaching them from, I think when you are doing this massage, it is for care. And of course, the breast and the heart feels that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking about the breast feels that, I know that you also share about how the breasts are scanning the room or scanning the environment. And would you like to speak a bit about that? I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think and what I've experienced is that by design, our breasts and our heart are meant to be very sensitive. And sensitive meaning, sensing and attuned to what's happening,
Yeah.
to, our environment, our space, to our interactions, our heart's attunement to other people. Um, and yeah, I mean, some people have even said the nipples are like eyes or like these antennas. Um, and so, yeah, I experienced that the breasts they're actually meant to, receive information about our environment and about people and about situations and communicate that to us.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, for that to happen, it is the breasts need to be free on some level, right? It's like if they're totally blocked up in a bra, then that signal isn't coming in. Um, so yeah, they have to actually be free and alive and open in those channels to be receiving that input. And I've experienced this on my own journey, very much with my breasts, and I think this is a collective theme. Is it feels like the breasts and the heart are meant to be a guardian of our womb, a guardian of our temple in that way of when they're sensitized and attuned to, the true frequency of our hearts that is so loving and that true innocent nature and, kind, grateful nature of our being, then it's very obvious what things are not of that energy of love, what things seek to manipulate or harm or distort, even just, I mean, it's so present in a lot of our world, even just in certain movies or TV shows, or like the way that people treat each other, the way that people speak to each other, that would feel very offensive to a sensitive heart.
Yes.
That's like, whoa, that's some level of abusive, that's these energies that kind of seek to um, diminish or desecrate the
Yeah.
sacredness of life, the sacredness of our hearts, of our beings. Um, so yeah, I feel like there's this melting of the hardness around our hearts and around our breasts we become more sensitive to those things and more able to protect ourselves from those things and honor ourselves um, in our truths. And yeah, I've experienced this in specifically in relationships to men. Like when my breasts were more congested and when I wasn't in that sensitivity, when I had my own, hardening and hurts that I was carrying around in there,
Yeah.
um, I just wasn't as discerning. I would get into these relationships or situations that were not honoring of my heart and ended up being, hurtful and things that I had to heal from later, you know? And
Mm.
there's many layers to those things, but I do feel like there was some part of it's like my heart wasn't in that clarity and attunement and self-love and self-worth that's like, no, I can feel this energy isn't gonna fully honor me and love me in the way that um, I know in myself.
Mm. Yes.
So yeah, whereas I do feel, we can in this modern world become desensitized to things that are abusive, things that are violent, things that are
Yes.
perverted, you know.
Mm.
Um, and so it feels really important for us to resensitize and
Yes.
to return to that like our natural state of truth, of wisdom, of love.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and be
Mm.
able to discern and protect of what is not that.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. And I can feel that feminine tender heart that is so naked and loving. And I totally agree that so many
Mhm.
things that are happening in the world and that we are just being bombarded with every day is not nourishment for for her. And if you see all these uh, TV programs with young people that are it's about love, but it's not. It's just
Mhm.
hurting each other, and we see that as a normal. But to the feminine heart, and of course, the men are not benefiting anything from it. But I can see it just mostly in the females, how they are making it right to just be chosen, and how this is closing the feminine heart. And also I can see that it has a huge effect on the breast health because it is connected. So we cannot
Mhm.
uh, separate the breast and the heart in that way, because it
Mhm.
uh, affects it all, and it's so important. And I can also feel that this journey back home and this journey with uh, use the world with the word melting the heart, and it was so beautiful because it is that it's maybe we cannot just do it in 1 second. It takes time, and we have to have patience, and layer by layer we are coming closer to this innocent, pure feminine heart that have something that the world also needs just now. That kind of love that we as women are carrying in our pure, innocent heart is something that have been forgotten, and we have to awaken it inside of us. And just talking about this, and I can feel how breast massage is such a beautiful medicine for that, to coming home to that place in us. And also, as you said, the discernment of life and energies, what is allowed to come into my space and into especially my womb. If we are disconnected or numbed in the heart, we can't even feel. And I was also wanted to ask you if you can see that a closed heart and stagnated energy in the breasts of old traumas. Do you think that we can recreate same types of relationships if we are not dissolving that trauma? And do you think that that can change also these relationship traumas with dissolving these tensions?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I do, as we're touching on, I feel that the realm of relationships is such a big part of the breasts. Um,
Yeah.
because it is that heart medicine and that, giving and
Mm.
receiving of love and nourishment and um there
Mm.
are so many levels to that in our beings, and I definitely feel like the heart is such a central part of that. And um I do feel, that the breast can carry a lot of, undigested material there. Even
Yeah.
even just like often cysts can be related to, not speaking truths or frustrations or boundaries, and it being kind of
Yes.
swallowed in, in the breast. And so
Mm.
I do think that those things can, yeah, block our discernment, block our valuing of ourselves, and um,
Yeah.
definitely affect how we're relating to people or how we might get into relationships. And I do feel that it feels like when someone starts tending her breasts, there's, with those layers, it's part of this too, is kind of
That's
like
true. It's kind of like,
layer by layer processing the emotional stuff that has been stuck there, or the
yeah.
experiences, the traumas. Um, and that's where, even beyond just the practice of breast massage, there's also, I find, really creating safe space for yourself to
Yeah.
drop into that, and to where your heart and your breast feel safe to process that piece that maybe you
Yes.
didn't get to at the time, and which is why it got stuck. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that spaciousness and that just safety where you're, there loving yourself, and
Yeah.
then yeah, to process and feel and let those things move. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that definitely feels like part of it. And I do think, yeah, just everything we're speaking on of that feminine heart and that innocence and sensitivity and vulnerability, I think also sometimes people can mistake that or think that, like, going into that space, then um it's kind of like, oh, you just unconditionally love everything and accept everything, and
Yeah.
are just like wide open. And it's actually, yeah, I feel like the more we come into that space, the more we naturally, it's like we become that steward of that space, and stewarding and guarding that sanctity.
Absolutely. And sometimes, as you said, the nakedness or the vulnerability sometimes associated with giving up ourselves, but maybe it's the opposite, that when we are there, then we are in the center of it, and we can feel the pain maybe, but we can do different choices that are more aligned. I also think that that
Mhm.
is being in that innocent pureness can be the absolute most powerful place to be. Instead of in when we have this guards up, we don't even feel ourselves or know anything, and unaware of what is happening with the energy, because I can see that many women think that they are setting up boundaries, but it's just a mental boundary. And
Mm.
with the energy and in the physical body, there are no boundaries at all. Especially when am working with the yoni, it's not. And I think that the heart is the same and the breasts are the same. That we can think that we have it, but in the soma, we still is leaking um,
Mm.
vessels. And I think when we start to work with the tissues and really um, come in tune with it, then things can change.
Mhm.
And also you were talking, as I just want to mention this too, when we're talking about both that it has to do so much with relationships, but also with nourishment. And I can see this very much in mothers too, that um, they want to nourish. It's a natural part of being a woman is to be nurturing, but we have to be nurturing from an overflowing cup, so that we are so filled that like a flower we are radiating and overflowing with the energy. But when we are giving without the capacity sometimes to receive, because for me I always loved to give and love to take care of and love to hold space and love this, I love it, and have had problems with receiving. But
Mhm.
I think the journey with the heart and the breasts and the whole femininity or the feminine essence, but it is also to learn how to receive and to dare to receive, both from our own uh, source, but also from others, to have that open heart that can discern and to receive and to also just being open and discernment in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like it's been so long, like many, many generations, maybe even thousands of years
Yeah.
for some of us, where women haven't received so much, they
No.
haven't been receiving just that nourishing touch, that like getting filled back up, the mamas being so cared for, and replenished. And
Yeah.
um so yeah, it feels really powerful in that way of that I think we are rewriting that and starting to receive more, to get
Yeah.
to be nourished and be filled up. And but yeah, I think it's been a very long time of
Yeah.
like women being used to more just holding that giving, 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 and really holding that mothering, but not,
Mm.
getting to receive it back.
Yes, and I think it's so beautiful that we can, as you said, rewrite that, and we can do that by taking ownership of our breath, and maybe we can then just know where our energies are going and what we are receiving and taking in, and what we also are giving or sharing with others. Yeah, I just want to ask you, is it something that you see that this is usual things that women carrying or have been through that created problems with the breasts? Is it some specific emotions or some specific, yes, experiences or something?
Mm. Yeah, definitely. I think some big themes can be some level of sexual trauma, either violation or just them not being treated with kind of reverence and care. Um, and definitely relationship stuff of
Mm.
those, and just speaking of truths, um, and different, yeah, communication kind of exchanges in relationships.
Yes.
Um, and then, yeah, I feel also that self-love is a really big one. And so I think sometimes the energies that can be in there is like self-criticism, and which is maybe too, from their mother or their female lineage of that, just like not being connected to the feminine energy, not feeling safe in that, not, feeling embodied in that. And so just different layers of criticism or um yeah, blockages there.
Yes.
Um yeah. Yeah, I feel like unexpressed things
Mm.
can is yeah, a big part of it.
It's so interesting and it's so beautiful that we have this medicine that can change it, because I think that we are just living in this fast pace and don't know that we actually can change it by coming home to our bodies and taking care of her. And before we are wrapping this up, I just have to ask you about breastfeeding, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I also heard you talk about that, and it was so beautiful because, as I said earlier, so many mothers feel drained and empty, and also it's more and more usual to mothers to decide to not breastfeed even before the child is birth. They have set the yes, they have decided to not breastfeed. Not they don't even try
Yeah.
because it is too. I can feel when they saying it that they don't want to connect. It's too much there.
Yeah.
They can't do it. And it's so sad to witness that.
Yeah.
What do you see about breast health and breastfeeding?
Yeah, I think it's I think there's, yeah, an added challenge in this modern day because so many women are kind of convinced or told not to breastfeed now.
Yeah.
Even in the UK here, in Scotland, I spoke with this mama who said it was so challenging for her to receive any support to actually breastfeed. It was like all of the doctors and people were telling her not to and trying to convince her that
Mm.
formula was actually better, It's so I definitely think there's those narratives happening that are trying to pressure, convince women not to. Um, and then I also, yeah, I think it's so connected to our disconnect or women's disconnection from their breasts.
Yeah.
Because I have heard from many mamas that they weren't really connected to their breast before. And then, baby comes and suddenly the
Yeah.
breasts are just like the center of the universe.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like, many hours a day. That's what's happening. And so if a woman hasn't started to connect to the breast and hasn't started to clear some of those layers, it can be kind of shocking, and it can be painful.
Yeah.
It can be just really challenging. Yeah, if the breasts aren't ready for it, if it feels like this shock. Um,
Mm.
so I think I really recommend women starting that journey before conceiving if they can. Of
Yeah.
course, you can still start tending them in pregnancy or while you're breastfeeding or after, we
Yeah.
all find our way at different times. But it definitely, I think, would help so much for women. Um, and I think, yeah, especially if women have a lot of congestion here, like if their breasts feel really dense or heavy or painful, or if
Mm.
there has been sexual trauma, and yeah, if there's intense things that feel like they haven't been processed yet there, just so helpful to start to work through some of that, and that layer by layer, so that you're not kind of having to process that and face that as you have this little new baby who's dependent on you.
Yeah.
I've heard that from some mothers who have experienced violation. It's
Yeah.
like that can come up when they're breastfeeding because there's this little being that's just totally dependent that just wants your breast all the time. But then there can be
Yes.
this energy of like that can just trigger those things of like, no, I
Mm.
don't want someone to
Yes.
touch my breasts.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think it can be so deep, that
Yes.
journey of with the breasts.
Mm.
Um, I've heard so many mamas too have, that was like their breast awakening was
Yeah.
having a baby and going through that journey. And because it
Yeah.
brings just so much, yeah, activity and attention and movement and flow to the breasts. It's really breastfeeding is so healthy for the breasts.
Mm.
I think it's like every year that a woman breastfeeds, her um, chances of developing breast cancer reduce by a certain amount.
Yes.
And I think it's partly because the breasts are getting all of this flow and touch
Yes.
and movement, it's really healthy for them to have all that flow.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, if possible, like starting to receive and connect
Mm.
with your breast before then can be so helpful.
Mm.
Because yeah,
Yes.
I do think that a lot of breastfeeding issues are because of the stagnation or congestion or blockages in women's breasts, both physically and emotionally, energetically.
Yes. Mm.
Yeah. And that's one
Mm.
of my deepest prayers with this work, actually, is that more women can breastfeed and
Yes.
yeah, and even enjoy that
Mm.
journey. It's so profound.
Yes. I think sometimes we think that is some kinds of perfection about it, but you can see these beautiful pictures with a mama who's sitting there with her child, but it's not how it looks in the real life. I have breastfed for 14 years of my
Wow.
life, and that's not how it not how it looks. And as you said, it's so many layers, and you can, if you choose to see it as an initiation and see it as activation, then it is a gift, but I can see it because it is challenging sometimes. And if
Yeah.
if you think that it easier to quit because then you don't have to deal with it, then you miss out of the activations and initiation and the gift too. Because of course sometimes it is challenging, but it's also a beautiful gift. And I think that it's so important to talk about it and to lift the benefits and also to support the mothers so that they have yes, have this medicine to take when it is challenging. Because in my
Yeah.
previous relationship that was not so good, so it was an abusive relationship, and I can see now um, how the breastfeeding was very much affected by how I was treated and how everything was going, how safe I felt or unsafe I felt,
Mm.
and also know that we were not meant to do this alone. I think
Yeah.
we were meant to do this in tribes where the other women would be there for us and help us and support us also. And just being aware of that makes it to take off the pressure, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I feel that it feels like that's emerging now more in the collective of more postpartum care, like
Yes.
more mamas getting to receive that support after birth, because it really does.
Mm.
Yeah, I think there's so much we can do with our own bodies, and it's so important to create that relationship and that connection. And also, I'm such an encourager of receiving from other women because, yeah, it's just another level of getting to receive and
Mm.
be in that nourishment. And I think, yeah, especially for mamas, it's just so huge. And yeah,
Yeah.
I've been visioning this for a while, but I'd really love to create some kind of like little booklet kind of thing, or maybe just mini course to support mamas with breastfeeding. Um, yeah,
Yes.
just with like different issues that might come up and different ways to address them and yeah, just support.
Yeah. Yes, that would be lovely. And I also think that when you are in that space with that other pregnant or with your newborn baby and everything is totally your brain is not functioning, it's so beautiful to have something to just someone to tell you. Maybe you know this deep inside of you, but we can't really access it when we are stressed and tired. So
Mhm.
just have someone that shares something that we can watch and feel the energy of another woman who is understanding and caring and listening. Because if you go to the doctors, they are not listening in that way. I don't think many women feel that support in that way. So that would be lovely to have.
Yeah.
So besides of that, what for the women that wants to have more of you and to have your medicine and your listen to more of your voice, where do they go?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and YouTube. Both is Breast Health Sanctuary in both those spaces. And I share a lot of wisdom and medicine and sometimes do longer videos on YouTube. So that's definitely a place where you can find me. Um, and then my website is blessourbrest.com.
Mm.
And I have a course starting April 5th. That's a 3-month journey, and it's called the Breast Sanctuary. And it's specifically to support women to connect with their breasts, to learn all about how to tend them, how to do massage in a way that will transform the tissue and help clear things. And
Mm.
also just to, yeah, anchor that sense of safety and trust and sanctuary in the body. Um, and and then I have two self-paced courses. One that's going to be coming out this week that are, yeah, like introductory offerings to more get a taste of what I do. One is called Preventing Breast Cancer, and then the other one is Breast Health Foundations. So those are all on my website, and I can share the links with you too.
Yes, absolutely.
And
I put
and then just the final thing is that I have a few practitioner trainings towards the end of this year in October and November, um, that are on the website as well.
beautiful. Is it online? This 3 month, or is it?
So the practitioner trainings are in person.
Yeah.
There's an online component and then an in-person 3 to 4 day um, in-person retreat experience.
Yeah.
Because for the practitioner trainings, it's really important to get hands-on practice and to feel different breasts and tissues and all of that. So I can't do that one fully online, but yeah,
Yes, but it's this 3 month that is starting in April. It is
that's
online.
online. Yeah, yeah, that's fully online.
Yes. Beautiful. And also go in and watch her YouTube and Instagram. I rewatch these videos and I feel it's going
Um,
deeper and deeper. That's interesting because every time I listen, I just feel I didn't hear that last time. And also I'm usually listening when I am with my children or doing things or cooking or something. So maybe I miss something sometimes, but it's beautiful to listen more than once and then, oh, maybe I wasn't ready to hear that last time.
yeah, totally. I feel that with transmissions. I
Yeah.
experience that too. Um,
Mm.
yeah, more
Yes.
comes through.
And that is so beautiful with you too, because you share this wisdom and this uh, practicality, but it's also so much energy and it takes it deeper, I feel.
Mm.
So
Yeah, we
thank
touched on so many amazing things today.
yes,
Oh, it
yes,
was
I
really
love
deep.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time to be here with me and have this conversation. It has been absolutely lovely and it opens up even more. And also, when we are having this conversation, I think we are allowing ourselves to go deeper and to take stands for these things that we think that is important, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, may this be such medicine for any woman who listens to it. And I'm so grateful for, yeah, getting to connect with you in this way and receiving your wisdoms and insight and curiosities too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been so beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you once again. And thank you all who listen.
Thank you for listening. If this was touching you, please feel free to share. And to find out more, check out the links below.